Good day and welcome to another edition of Outside of Genie, where we will be looking today at race meeting the 31st of March from Turffontein on the inside track, where we do have 8 races on the card. Before I commence with my analysis of the form and the betting, I just want to mention that for those people who want to get the preview video for Saturday and the selections, that those selections will only be available to subscribers of Outside of Genie's services, as that's a major race meeting. And as you know, before I do a more detailed video on big race days than the normal free video that I post every day. So if you want to get access on that, you can now subscribe from now till the end of the week, and including Saturday, for 100 Rand. Or if you want to subscribe for a month, you can subscribe now till the end of April for 400 Rand. If you are interested, contact me on 083 585 5133. So let's start with our meeting at the Turffontein today. Race 1 is a maiden plate over 2,000 meters. It's a work rider's maiden plate. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is as follows. Number 3, Twin Turbo, 22 to 10, 28 to 1, Sergei, 28 to 10, 53 to 10, Techno Savvy, 13 to 2, Walsing L, Ball Rolling, 12 to 1, Dynavision, 18 to 1, Royal Mazarin, 25 to 1, Uncatchable, 28 to 1, and 35 to 1, Nicolex. So let's have a look here at the field, where my first selection is the number 3 horse, Twin Turbo. This horse has shown some ability and has run places in his last 2 races. It's a Flower Alley by a Western Winter mare, nicely bred. But the thing that swayed me into the favor of this horse is the jockey, this Matsuela. As I mentioned before, but for new persons maybe watching this for the first time, Matsuela used to go to the Jockey Academy, but unfortunately never finished his apprenticeship for some reasons unknown to me. So for outsider selections, I'm going to go for numbers 4 and 5, Ball Rolling. Paul Peter Stable, Dabamanzi, also a competent jockey. This horse has ran some places over 2,000 and 2,400, and certainly must be in with a chance in winning this race. So certainly a horse that currently at 12 to 1, you want to include in all of your play. Number 4, Ball Rolling. Then I'm going for number 5, Royal Mazarin, which hasn't got a lot of form, but it did improve last time out at Gravel behind Jacob's Ladder. Now, the thing is, the Tony Nassif stable is currently on a hat trick, as they went to Durban with 2 horses last week, and both of them did win. And yeah, maybe the stable, as I said before, one of the pointers when you do your selections, you follow a stable that are in form. So maybe Royal Mazarin, I'm certainly not sure whether he can win this race, but certainly if he runs a place at his current betting, Royal Mazarin 25 to 1, it will certainly enhance the payout of the quartet. Then we look at some other horses that also have chances. Number 1, Techno Savvy, is a horse that comes from KwaZulu-Natal, has had 1 run where it didn't do too bad behind Irish Willow. Now going 400 meters further, so one will have to see if the distance suits. But if we look at the betting, at the breeding, it shouldn't be a problem. Also, number 2, Sergei, did run an improved voice last time. Also Natal behind Mr. Pigale, and before that behind Eskimo Pie. Also going to the 2,000 meters for the first time. Also capable of getting a blow in at the end of the race. We then move on to races 2 and 3, where both of them are all to come maiden juvenile plate. As you know by now, I don't give any selections on juveniles and maiden juvenile plates. But here's the betting. Number 6, Quest from Afar, 8 to 10, 4 to 1, Rosara, 11 to 2, Hollywood Bound, 9 to 1, Bathing Beauty, 12 to 1, Rose of Bayix, Vanetta 12 to 1, Angry Alley 33 to 1, 35 to 1, Piece of Our Time, Queen's Gold 35 to 1, and she's winning 35 to 1. For the purposes of the PA, I did include numbers 3 and 6 in my PA. Then we move to the third race, which is Star of the West, 12 to 10, 2 to 1, Floriana Island, Partner in Crime, 13 to 2, Port Royal, 7 to 1, 11 to 1, Gandalf the Bay, Major Coup, 12 to 1, and scratch numbers 2, Modern Magician. In terms of the pick six, you only need to include 3 runners. That's runners 1, 3, 5, and 6, because they're the only horses that has run. So you only need just 4 horses for your pick 6. In terms of the PA, I've included numbers 5 and 6. So let's move on to race number 4, where the betting is as follows. Maple Sugar, even money, trying times 22 to 10. In imitation game, 9 to 1, 11 to 1, Silly Fella. Valencia, 13 to 1, 18 to 1, Cultured Pearl. Bondi Bay, 18 to 1, 35 to 1, thebomb.com. Now, in this race, what I want to do first, I just want to point out to you guys, when you're doing your pick 6, number, where is it now? Number 7, Silly Fella. Had to run last weekend, and he won last Thursday. He ran 7 lengths behind the winner. So it is not the first timer. So if you want to, you need to include it in your play if you want to include that. So don't deem it as a first timer and pass it by. So here in this race, the favorite is number 8, Maple Sugar. Ideal World, Lawn Cottage by Fortwood. Nicely Bred, this Lawn Cottage has thrown in a few nice foals. Lyle Hewitson draws 6, and yeah, this horse has been running well. Has only had 3 runs and has a little bit of a break since his last run, but has always been there. Like they just got beaten by Arabella Queen on a debut. Then ran behind Brooklyn Bridge. Brooklyn Bridge has won a few. As you can see there, 14 runners, 4 wins, and then behind Flower Season, 12 runs, 1 win. But certainly not a very strong field. And yeah, I'm sure Sean Terry will have this horse spot on. But I must say, this is not a type of horse that I would rush to put the even money, to go and take the even money, as I think there are horses that can be this horse. One of my outsider selections that I just, not an outsider selection, but a horse that I want to discuss while I'm here is number 9, thebomb.com. I did include this in my quartet selections. The horse is getting -4. He only faded over the last bit behind Largo Bay. It was said he was cut into. The horse is nicely bred, soft falling rain, little jet by Jet Master. And surely if you know if this horse would run into the quartet and trifectas, would surely make the enhance the dividend. My outsiders for this race is numbers 2 and 5. Imitation Game is 9 to 1. Now, Imitation Game is having his first run after a gelding, was gelded shortly after his last race, which he didn't run too well. He ran a nice second behind Mars Rover, and then didn't put it all together. Now today running over 1450, and I'm sure it's going to run a much better race. It has got Muzieni on board. Muzieni don't ride a lot for Candace Dawson, but already he's got 20 rides for 3 wins, 3 seconds, and 2 thirds. So certainly he has a nice record. You can see here in this this wolf was beaten by Celestial Love. Now, since this, Celestial Love has won 2 more races, so certainly that form is a strong form. And then also Keith, also 9 runs, 2 wins, and I'm sure that was also not a weak field. So do include Imitation Game in all of your play. Then another horse that you want to include is number 1, Trying Times. Trying Times took a while to find his feet, but then all of a sudden, last time out, went from the start and nearly stole the race. Was just run out of it late, out of it over the 1400 meters. Warren Kennedy on board. So certainly a horse that you want to include is number 1, Trying Times. Then we move on to race number 5, which is the graduation plate for fillies and mares over 1450 Class B. Average merit at 85. Let's have a look here at the betting. the betting as follows. The betting here is number 2, Froster Steel, Fib 5-2, G for Go 5-2, Ecstatic Queen 28-10, Kirari Ferrari 7-1, Geigen Glory 7-1, Birdwatcher 13-1, 20-1, Queen Bomi, and Extravert. Now, here, as you can see here in the best weighted column, number 3, G for Joe, Ecstatic Queens, all 3-year-olds. And here you have Ferrari number 1, which is my selection. First of all, Ferrari is running from a merit rated of 92, and has run in some strong opposition. You can see here behind Vistula, Lady of Steel, Summer Pudding. Certainly horses that can hold their own in this field and will certainly win this field, by lengths. Last time out, that run can be forgiven. That horse jumped from 12 out of 12 over the Val, 1600 meters, which is not an easy draw to jump from. Before that, ran in a highly merit-rated race behind Roy's Winter, a Progress Plate, and that Roy's Winter on that day won quite well. And I'm just getting a feeling that Ferrari is going to come into her own now and definitely has a huge run in this race. And for outsider selections, I'm going for numbers 5 and 8. Number 5 being Geigen Glory. This horse won in September 2019, which is nearly 2 years ago, 18 months ago. Won a nice race behind Gin Fizz, and I thought this horse might train on, especially after he ran second in the Empress Palette, ready to run second. But then he was off for a while, and then came back last year, but never really got going. But did run a nice improved race last time out, and I've just got a feeling the merit rating has dropped from a 99 to an 87, so the drop in merit rating, we might find it will benefit this horse. As I said before, Ryan Munger is the jockey, and he really rides well. He hasn't won a race for Alexander's yet. And maybe the form is not strong enough to win, but certainly it is strong enough to run a place, and that's what you want, because Geigen Glory down 7-1 in the betting. Then I want to scroll down for my other outsider selection here, and that's number 8, Queen Bomi. Now, I think if you have a look at his form, I would think that this horse has been running over distances that doesn't suit her. The 1800s and the 2000 and the 1600s, because she ran well on distances around 1400, 1450. And as a matter of fact, over this distance, 2 rounds, 1 win. Muzieni on board. And although a little bit out in the weights, that's certainly a horse that you want to include into your play, because as you can see here, she ran in a Progress Plate, which was an A Division 97. She ran second, 1.75 behind Mary Gold, which was certainly a very good effort. And I do feel that Queen Bomi today, a horse that you need to include for your trifectas and quartet selections. Then we move on to number 2, which is one of the favorites. Frosted Steel did run a nice race, winning by 3 lengths against Pool Party. Certainly, I would think the horse to beat, especially with the minus 1.5. But, nothing in racing is a certainty. And I do believe that Frosted Steel is not a banker. As we also have G for Go here, a horse that has been comprehensively beaten by War of Athena in her last 2 runs. But again, I've got the feeling that maybe the 1450 will suit G for Go definitely much better. And also the type of runners of Mary Gold, War of Athena, not in this field. So that certainly puts G for Go in a nice situation that she can be involved in the finish of the race. Here we have Ecstatic Queen, which for me was a bit of a disappointment after running second in Alan Robinson. I really thought this filly is going to train on. She won a small future, the Debutante Stakes, beating Keep the Lights, and then ran second to War of Athena. But since then has disappointed between Due Diligence, Winter Smoke, Zimbabwe, and Castellino. But I think of Lyle Hewitson on board can be ready to improve. Also, horse that will need your attention when you do your selections in terms of quartet and trifecta selections. Then we move to race number 6, which is another graduation plate, but this is an open one, not just for fillies and mares, where we have a Class C average winner rating distance 1450, and here the betting is as follows. That's race number 6. Number 1, Willow Express 16-10, Herodotus 5-2, 28-10, Batlodi 15-2, Bowie Aerocent 8-1, 18-1, Corvette Captain 18-1, Iceman Common 22-1, 35-1, Aristarchus, and My Kingdom 110-1. So here in this race, my first choice is, first of all, I just want to say Willow Express is certainly in with a very good chance. I was following this horse for every time it runs, but it disappointed me. But last time out behind Approach Control, he really got in the race quickly, and by the 400 meters he moved up, and it was race over, winning, going away in the fastest 400 to finish 23.1, and certainly do have a huge chance again. But this time racing from 50, where last time out he had 55 minus 1.5, which was certainly makes a difference. In my selection, he has number 3, but Claudie, Act of War. His horse is nicely bred, has won 5 from 2, 2 from 5, has run against Catch 22, which is not a donkey. And then last time out, but Johnny Yeri was hanging out, and I think will definitely run an improved race today over the 1450, and therefore my first choice for race 6 is number 3, but Claudie. Then my outsider selections is number 7 and 8. Let's have a look at there at number 7. Now, number 7 is Iceman Cometh. A little bit out in the rating, but this horse won at 80-1 over the 1450 on this track. This horse only had 4 runs, and it was this course and distance for 1 win. But now this horse has been gelded since his last race, and that to me is certainly significant. Then ran behind Ballon d'Or and second base, and certainly was not disgraced behind both of them, running behind six lengths. And I'm thinking this gelding, being gelded might improve him, and certainly at a price of 22-1 will definitely improve your quartet selection. So do include in all of your quartet and trifecta selections. And then my other outsider is number 8, Bowie, getting a 55.5 minus 1.5. This jockey really is worth his claim, and he rides well, and certainly by being used by Sean Tanney must give him a lot of confidence. Bowie also was that has never run on the 1450, but has run on 1400s, and then over shorter distances. I'm sure the trainer's still trying to figure out which would be his best distance. But I think Bowie do have some ability, and certainly a horse that you want to include in all of your selections, your quartet, trifecta, swingers, and so on. And here we have number 6, Corvette Captain, who is also not well in the weights, but did run a second behind Oscana. On that day was a surprise winner. Maybe for the back end of your quartets, you want to include this one. In Eurocent, one is maiden last time out, will have to, show some form to, against this opposition. So therefore, and then also Herodotus, I'm just thinking that the 1450 might just be a little bit short of him, but certainly in with a chance. Sometimes horses can surprise to win over distances which we deem too short for them. So let's move on to the next race, which is a maiden plate for fillies and mares over 1600 meters. And here the betting is as follows. Here we have a strong favorite, number 11, Sudden Song, 9-10, Amber Glow, 9-2, Miss Flowers, 6-1, Dancing Arabia, 6-1, Women of Grace, 14-1, Wonderful Rock, 18-1. Now, in race 7, I find it difficult to go against the favorite, which is number 11, Sudden Song. Sudden Song is very nicely bred, the Dynasty Castle, Pine by Season mare, and did improve from his second to his from his first to his second race. Got Kumar on board for the Aziz, who he rides for well, drawn free. And as I say, I think his horse has been the fastest 400 in both of his runs. But again, not in a, I would think of above average time is normally under 24 seconds, but a reasonable time, 400 to finish. And I'm sure this horse will be running on strongly from draw 4. Then for outsider selections, I'm going for number 10. She can dance all night from this Stallion Sudden Storm, which came into the spotlight when his son won that big race the other day, when badly handicapped by a Badger's Drift mare, Grinlock. This horse showed some pace over the 1200 meters, but it might be that the 1400 meters, the 1600 meters will suit him better. And definitely, I think, with a place chance number 10, she can dance all night, but from draw 11, which might be a little bit at a disadvantage, but do include in the back ends of your quartets and trifectas number 10. And my other outsider selection is number 3, which is Woman of Grace, the Gary Alexander stable. This horse did improve last time in his last run, running 3 lengths behind Blue Spark. No strong finish, but I must say it was in a maiden handicap. But I think this horse just needed a few runs. It's now 3rd run after a race. And I would think that this horse has got the ability to improve. Also a horse that you want to include in all of your play. And also my other selection we want to talk about is number 4, Amberlow Star, who is also, since a stable change, has improved and is running close to the winners, and certainly I think can be a contender in this race. So let's move on to the last race, which is race number 8. And here we have another maiden plate over 2,000 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is as follows. Number 1, Electric Boot, 7-2, 4-1, Sophia's First, 13-2, Massacre, 8-1, Love Posey, 8-1, Crusade Royalty, Super Duper, 9-1, 12-1, Fantastic, 16-1, and better. Now, also, I think we got to, as the betting indicates, 7-2, we do have a very open maiden plate here, where my first selection is number 8, and that is Super Duper. Super Duper has had 18 runs, has run 12 places from 18, always there and thereabouts, always find there's one horse to beat him. But I think today with the -1.5, although from coming from draw 12, might be his day, certainly suited to the distance, has been placed over this distance on the score, 7 runs, 6 places, so which is the worst was 3rd place, and also over the distance, 6 places. So certainly the course and distance definitely suits Super Duper, and I'm looking for Super Duper today to run a huge race. But this is a very open race, so let's have a look at my outsider selection, which is 3, Massacre. I see Massacre has had an ownership change, but not a stable change, and now runs in the colors of Money Talk Syndicate, Andre van Schaik. Luke Ferraris on board, draw 7. This horse has run a few places, and certainly the 2,000 meters will not be a problem for number 3, Massacre, another horse that can go in, also nicely bred. Tiefelo out of a strata mare, certainly on breeding, should win this race, should be easily win this race on breeding. But then again, races are not run on paper, they run on a course. Then another outsider selection is number 5, Crusade Royalty, Radel Simons from draw 6. This horse also improved last time out, and I do feel that the 2,000 meters will actually suit this horse even better. So do include in all of your play. Then we have number 4, Fatalistic, who improved tremendously in his last race and has to, show that he's now improving, but has unfortunately a draw of 16, which will make it extremely difficult for him to win from that draw. Then we have a look at number 11, Sophia's First. There was big money for this horse last time out, but he failed to kick on, but ran 3rd behind Drop Papers and Scissors. And before that, the second to a tentative Kumara, now from draw 5, where Sophia's first was running from draw 11, which on this course is really a disadvantage. So now better drawn. So expect a big run from number 11, Sophia's first. Then also maybe a horse that other horses that you want to look at to include into your play. That might be number 1, Electric Boots. Also, second favorite has been running well. Mirren has just come out last weekend and won again, so that form has been frank. Moby, there's already 9 runners, 3 winners out of that. So certainly strong form, but also jumping from draw 11. And then number 2, Love Posey, did improve last time out, running second to Opera Glass. But yeah, going to 2,000 meters for the first time today. Let's see if there's other runners I didn't touch on. Then number 7, Mumbada, I don't have it in my play, but also a horse that you want to include in the back end of your quartet. For me, it's just as significant that that Muzieni is riding the stable companion number 7, Moabi, but maybe it's because Deacon did run a place last time out of Super Duper, so he retained that right. Because the stable companion is ridden by Muzieni, but certainly don't have the same kind of form as number 8, Super Duper. I'm not sure whether that's an omen or whether it's just a jockey arrangement. Rizzoli is a horse that has run a few places, but the last 2 races wasn't too well, but was placed before 2/3 over 2,000 meters, and that might be the distance it's been looking for. So maybe including the back end of your quartets for 3rd and 4th, but also from draw 13, we'll find it hard to be competitive in this race. And then that brings us to the end of our preview. And I hope I could point in the right direction. Just a reminder that the race meeting for Saturday will only be for subscribers, the video and the selections. And as I always say, break a leg.